Here, a big namaste. I and my friend Tina, we are back with the ninth edition of When East Meets West. And
Mhm.
believe me, folks, today we have a brilliant and a very interesting topic: innovation on lease. How short term thinking impacts long term relevance. But before we dive into the topic, first, I would like to convey our gratitude for all the love and affection you have been giving us because the numbers are showing you're watching us. We would like a bit more of interaction so that we deliver what you exactly want. So, before I hand over the mic to Tina, and I'll do it this time with a question.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to that, Sandeep. Thank you also for the nice introduction. And I like to say welcome and good morning for all of you in Europe and here in Sweden that is listening to the podcast in the time zone I'm in. So she's 10 o'clock a.m. So thank you a lot and welcome. I'm excited to start talking with you and curious about your questions, Sandeep.
A simple question: what does innovation mean in your part of the world?
In my part of the world, I will start to say that innovation is what shaped my country a long time ago, with the strong innovation force of products that the market actually needed or were looking for. So, innovation is a lot about finding up unexpected, expected solution to solve problems that the society need. And we had a very strong innovation culture. We have and still have a very strong innovation culture. And I will also, considering the question, talk about that innovation because I had that. If you don't ask me a question, I will start to talk about that, what can actually happen, because I would consider myself to be very innovative. Mm. But I might not be so good at selling it internally in companies. So I'm that sort of silent innovator, maybe not so silent, but I have many ideas and I can come up with new concept, new products. As some of you maybe know, I am a scientist. So I was assistant professor at Lund University. And before that, I was a postdoc in Germany. I worked actually already in the 90s with RNA science. And innovative in the day in the way that I'm very good at maybe not coming up with brilliant, absolutely new solutions, but I develop what already exists. Yeah, that's another way of innovating. But I remember when I came back and I wanted to start my own scientific group, it wasn't so easy for me to be innovative any longer. I went from being an innovative scientist to become much more of an administrative assistant professor. You know, the focus went from that to that. And I started to think I didn't like my job then suddenly. And in states, I didn't really know what is it in my job I don't like. I have, according to many, got everything you should be happy about. You have a position, you have PhD students, I had postdocs, and I was applying for funding, and I had many ideas. And I remember one professor telling me at Lund University, "Where do you get all your ideas from?" And I said, "Hmm, they just come." But that's not true because I talked with people, I went to conferences, I was reading articles, and then somehow I put new concepts together. So, anyone that I would say had an opportunity, if they had valued me as an innovator, I'm quite sure many new projects could have been developed at Lund University. But I didn't because I left. And now I'm coming to the next point. And then I started as a recruiter in a company. And the same thing happened again, Sandeep. I came up with new business solutions, new products within the life science field, but the company were not so interested. And I failed to sort of implement it. I failed to sell it. I failed to communicate it. And this is something, Sandeep, that I have, planning this podcast here, been reflecting about. So now I have Sandeep here because this is a red line in my life that I have been able to innovate, come up with new frameworks, come up with new products. I'm very early on. I had my podcast already 10 years ago. And then suddenly nothing happened. Yeah, it was so like a scientist, it was so like a recruiter, and a little bit also running my own company that, you
Hmm.
know, things happen, but there is something missing. And do you know what? I don't think I'm the only one sitting in big organizations or even in small organizations or at universities listening to me. I'm quite sure some people say, well, I feel the same. So when you listen to that, and I say innovation, yeah, I am an entrepreneur, I would say. I would say I'm very innovative. But what is actually the missing link? University and companies, and it could also be in me. And if a person is sitting there listening to me and they feel like me, what can they do? What can the organizations do? And here I thought, Sandeep, isn't that a great start for us to look
Of
at?
course, this is a great start, Tina. Thank you for setting the context so well with a personal story.
Mm,
You see, because innovation on a leash, everyone talks of innovation.
no,
But the question is, as a leader, as a manager, and as a human being, how much do you allow innovation to happen?
exactly.
Now, innovation is a natural phenomenon which happens and exists in all of us.
Mm,
Had we not been innovators, we wouldn't have changed from childhood to what we are today.
mm,
You see, though we believe that it's the external elements which have nurtured us, yes, they have nurtured us, but with those elements, we have got our own thinking into it and created new frameworks, new systems, new thoughts for ourselves.
mm.
Now, when it comes to business, what I see in India, I see two things. Number one, people confuse innovation with change.
Yeah.
That's a big, big issue,
Mm,
right? Now, if, say, this pencil is black and I painted red, I'll say, hey, I've innovated. No, man, you have not innovated, you have just changed the color.
mm.
Okay, you have changed the color because with innovation comes value addition. And number two, when you get to the corporates or the businesses, the leaders, number one, they're scared of failing, so they hold back their subordinates from innovative thinking. Number two, they want to hog all the credit. As a result, the subordinates pull back. Even this happens.
Mm.
And number three, they want to micromanage innovation, and innovation can never be micromanaged.
It cannot. And that is a very good point you're picking up because I'm going to talk more about the story in the company where I worked as a
Hmm.
recruiter, because that is a brilliant example of how you kill an innovative person and actually, in the end, maybe very successful business area because you pinpointed micromanagement and the inability to look beyond the system. The company has a system, and this is very in Western world, KPIs, systems, structure. And that is when you take something and you want to fit that person into the system. And I think we mentioned that in another podcast here. I don't
Mhm.
remember which one. Instead of looking at, we have a person, how can
Mhm.
we change the system to the person and to, or to the team? And what happened here, and I want you to take your corporate look at it. I came in as a wild horse, yeah, untamed wild horse with a lot of energy, and I have a lot of energy. So when I'm hungry, when I can see I can change, when I can earn money, particularly earn money sending invoice, I have an extreme working capacity. I still have. So what happened was I was very successful as a recruiter creating products for life science in south part of Sweden. And I earned money, but I didn't follow the rules. I was creating new things and all of that. And that means that since I was alone in the beginning, I was both a consultant manager and a recruiter and a salesperson. I did all three.
Mhm.
So you know what happened when something is successful in a recruitment company or a staffing industry, they start to react in Stockholm. I live in south part of Sweden. So what happened now was, okay, they said, maybe there is a business field in life science. We need to start to develop that in our company, maybe. So some years later, what they did, not years, half a year later, they decided that's what we're going to do. And then they were from top down structuring the life science field into recruiters, consultant managers, sales and business development, and managers. And guess what happened? Did they talk with me? No. Did they ask anything about south part of Sweden? No. And what did they do with me, Sandeep? They told me, Tina, you're going to be a recruiter only. Don't mix yourself into consultant. Don't sell. You're just going to recruit. And here is your KPIs. I looked at the numbers and I said, it's impossible. We don't have that much business in the region. Don't be so negative. So, what do you think happened?
Either you left or they asked you to leave.
Yeah, of course, I left. I became impossible.
This is
And they
what I'm
wonder
saying.
why are you so disappointed? Why can't you just be a little bit positive? Here we have created a new business field. And I
So, Tina, let me share another story. You said life sciences.
yeah,
So, I've been associated with life sciences since 2004.
yeah.
So, while I was working with this company, we had a project of head and neck cancer biomarkers as a diagnostic tool.
Mm,
Now, world over, there is no biomarker which can predict what is the probability of the or the tumor metastasizing into cancer.
mm,
So we had the best teams in India. We were working very hard, and one team was from the academic field. Now, academia doesn't really understand the concept of bench to market. Now, the clinical in charge, the main PI, he said, I want a result of 90% accuracy, efficacy. Fair enough. He said, otherwise, doctors will not accept it.
mm,
Now,
mm.
this academia had got a result of 74% or something. Now, they insisted on publishing a paper. And we insisted that, look, if you make the information public,
Mm.
we will not get the IP. And if we don't get the IP, there'll be no commercial value.
Yeah, right. Right, 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 right.
Right. And it's a sensible thing. So just let's work much more. But that guy and that team was so adamant that we are going to publish, we are going to publish. They scuttled the entire thing. Something we had already spent $2 million, right, in that research. And something would have created a global diagnostic kit,
Mm.
on the table diagnostic kit for the doctors to assess whether this tumor needs to be removed or not to be removed. That got scuttled. So I've
Yeah.
seen innovation also falling by the way because of the ego
It's
of the,
ego. Yeah,
of the
yeah, it's
people.
the ego. Mm.
Okay, now let me ask you another very
Yeah, but
interesting
ego, I think, no, but ego is really good because that is a struggle where you have entrepreneurship within the academic context. The focus is to publish and have patents. So it's very common, I believe, that and this since I am in this field here, I tell the scientists, but are you sure you're going to be the president in the company? Do you have the entrepreneurial spirit or the scientific focus? because there the ego comes in.
Well, uh, when the
Yeah.
ego makes you believe that you are God and you can do anything, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty bad.
It's bad. Yeah, it doesn't work with entrepreneurship at all.
It doesn't work, it
No, it
doesn't
doesn't
really,
work. It's two
it
different
doesn't
sides.
really work.
No, it
Okay,
doesn't
let me
work.
ask you another thing. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
now I've seen a lot of people, when they talk of innovation, they sit down. Okay, this is a, say, bottle, right? Let me design a new bottle.
Mm,
And that new bottle is never designed
mm,
because they are starting in vacuum.
mm,
This is only a reference point. Personally, I believe if they really want to innovate, they got to focus on the process. And when the process gets innovated, the end product automatically gets innovated.
mm, mm.
Now, this philosophy is catching up in India that focus on the process, not so much on the end product.
I think there's a lot in it. And it comes to something I actually wrote down here. So I'm going to read it. Because I think it is this short and long term sort of, and the process itself. And then you need to be aware of when you work in the process to be open minded about the unexpected. Open minded about the unexpected is a key. And that is how many of the innovative inventions you can take. The penicillium, for example, he didn't plan it. He was just open minded to investigate something new that he didn't expect to happen. So I write, we try to innovate on top of system that we never designed for learning.
Hmm.
And you can't build on that box because then, people will get stuck in the box and in the comfort zone. But instead, innovation, you can never be built on something. Yeah. So it is about much more go into a process, and in that process accept to live with the fact that we maybe don't know what the end product will look like, because then we already blocked our mind. And this is coming back to science, why I believe that many scientists today, now I'm saying something many might not agree about, but I say they are not very innovative. And the question and what I'm worried about at the universities is that we have created scientists. They decide from the beginning what the article is going to be about. So they do science within a box. But the question is if they are open minded enough to discover the unknown. And that is a completely sort of different mindset. But with the pressure we have in Europe, and I talk with a scientist now here helping that professor with an application and strategies. And it's sad because the tip I give is that you must in Europe with European funding already from the beginning basically have a timeline what you're going to do. But that can't be innovative. It's impossible. Because if I already know what I have to do in order to get the funding, how can I be innovative and create something fundamentally different? Because if I can explain that, then it's not innovation. So I think in science, we have this challenge here. So we must have room. And now I'm coming to something that is so important, I believe, when it comes to innovation, looking at from mindfulness, that if we go back in time, we had both at work and as scientists time, listen carefully, to do nothing. We had time to do nothing but sitting, reflecting, and thinking. But in today's extreme fast paced world, we don't free our mind to think beyond the box. And that is dangerous for innovation.
And now, with AI coming in, you see, so
Mm,
even focusing on the books takes a back seat, just press certain buttons, give certain commands, so you get the summary of the book.
mm,
Okay, that was on the lighter note, and the scientists would not obviously not like it. You see, now you made a very valid point, Tina.
Mm,
Innovation happens on something which exists.
mm.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no
Otherwise,
problem.
otherwise it's not a innovation, right?
Mm,
It
mm,
is creating a new product or a new system or a new framework. I was doing my design thinking course from one of the leading institutes in India,
mm,
and a case study came up. And what was a beautiful case study? One of the railway platforms commissioned them to design public urinals. So the design thinking team went, decided everything, worked out everything, commissioned them. The urinals were never used. Now the
mm,
question was, where is the fault? When they went back again, what they observed that they had not taken into consideration the habit of carrying backpacks, which people are doing today.
mm. Their backpacks, yeah.
Right. So as a result, without a backpack, if you can accommodate a person in in 18 inches or 20 inches, with the backpack you need 36 inches or 30
Mm,
inches to accommodate that person. So that additional inches were not taken care of. As a result, the person could not enter the urinal with the backpack. And stations being busy places, no
mm,
one was prepared to leave the backpack outside.
mm.
You see, so innovation is not restricted to creating something new. It is also, well, personally, I believe
Mm,
it
mm.
starts from understanding why something is not working
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and then designing something.
Mm.
So, this, focus, I got to create something new. Sometimes I believe it becomes too much and it's very
It
unnecessary.
becomes too much. It becomes a burden. It's, oof,
Yeah.
it becomes a burden simply. So it's not about sitting thinking and then you get the Nobel Prize or then you get no, no, no. And this is going back to another topic. When I listen to you, people have backpacks, absolutely, and we can talk about company structures where you maybe sit and don't dare to fail.
Hmm.
You don't dare to ask questions because I don't want to lose my face. I don't want to ask a question so they think I don't understand. There might be very strong political sort of networks. That's very common in big companies or at universities. So you actually don't ask questions. You're not curious. So if you're not curious, you can't learn. But also, what I learned when I have been leading people both at the university, but actually more in the podcast, PhD Career Stories, is that I said always, it's better to fail. It's better to record a bad podcast than no
Mhm.
podcast, because it's not about that podcast. It's about what the podcast looks like in 1 year. And if we only succeed, we will never be a good podcast. And that is sort of the mindset that we don't know what's going to happen on the road. So don't look at it. We just do the job and then things will come in the way. So failing is extremely important to have acceptance for, and failing without failing, a company that says I never fail or we never fail can't be successful. Individuals that refuse to say, oh, sorry, I was wrong, I failed, that didn't really work out, we lost money on that. If they never done that, they can't be innovative because they haven't done enough then. That's this is so important. And that we come back to what we have discussed in other podcasts, the teamwork, that you can be that sort of, yeah, didn't work. I didn't do a good job here. I don't think we did a good job. You must have that sort of complete openness in a team. Psychological safety, I think the podcast was about failure, because
You're,
otherwise we can't unlearn and learn.
you're absolutely right, Tina. And I'll just go a little back.
Yeah, please.
Uh, you talked of failing, right? And I tell people, you know you're going to fail, right? Accept it. You know you will not achieve, accept it. You know you are not prepared for this scenario, accept it. But
uh,
still, action de risks failing.
mm,
You see, when I
mm,
say action de risks failing, people usually respond, we are certain we are going to fail. I said, look, if you don't take action, the failure is 100%. You got
mm,
no action, you're sitting where you are, so that's failure.
mm.
But
Yeah.
if you take action, there's a probability, might be a small probability, that you might succeed.
Mm,
So from 100%, even if you move to 60% failure probability and a 40% success probability, are you not de risking failure? And when you fail, obviously you say, why? What went wrong? What could I have done differently?
exactly.
And the next time, you're more confident. So,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. I'll only say action
Mm.
de risks failure. So, take action and move
Take
ahead.
action. Yeah. It's always better to do something, to take action, than stopping.
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to be perfect. And this is so, now we move maybe away a little bit from innovation, but I can see it from the job seekers I'm coaching, that I said, you are sitting now with your resume and CV, you don't use it. You work for perfection. There's no point to have a CV. It will never be perfect. Start using it. If you have one or two spell errors and you send that to me, I will not notice because I have dyslexia.
Hmm.
So I, I wouldn't notice because that's not my focus when I read your CV. It doesn't mean that someone else doesn't focus on it, but this is about you accepting that I'm not here for perfection. You know, so and that's another. Looking at, it's better to do and never strive for perfection, because that means when you think you're perfect, you stop developing, you stop unlearning. And I think, couldn't that be something for organization and companies? They come to a level where unlearning becomes impossible because they are building their success on the past. So rebuilding the company for a completely new future becomes actually more or less difficult or impossible because they're still hanging on the past successes. At
Then
least in my, yeah,
Tina, then I'll only say one thing.
yeah,
The CEO and the president
yeah.
and the board are not doing their job. They are playing the safe game. They're trying to be in the comfort zone.
Mm,
Whereas for me, a CEO and the board are supposed to give a vision, and a vision is not a static thing.
mm,
The vision keeps is dynamic because the external conditions in which you are doing business, they keep changing, and you got to align your organization to those conditions.
mm.
Take the case of Nokia.
Yeah,
Nokia,
it's a very good example. Yeah. Mm.
take the case of Kodak. Once
So,
a leading photography equipment company, today nowhere to be seen.
mm.
Nokia, the leading mobile manufacturer, got wiped out. And there are
and it
thousands,
and it was fastly wiped out.
yes.
Boom.
And so there are thousands of other companies. So if in today's environment where companies are constantly changing, the environment is changing, they're adapting to new ways and means, they're pivoting on their strengths, upskilling themselves. If anyone
Mm.
tries to build the future on the past laurels or the past gains, I think that's a very dangerous thing. And
No, it doesn't work because we
it
we we
won't
have
last long.
examples.
Yeah.
It will not succeed. It will not work. And talking about East and West, but we had As I said in a previous podcast as well, Novo Nordisk got, laid off 5,000 people. Many of these people, I believe, were in communication, administration, and managers. Yeah. So they are removing management levels. And I learned that in a company I was an executive coach in, where I was coaching the managers. And I said, hey, from what I learn and hear from your company, they are now going to move on an Amazon structure on your company. That means that 2 layers of managers at least will disappear. So you better watch your eye and back what you can do to change your position to make your future relevant if you want to stay in the company. And he was like, wow, yeah, haven't thought about that. He's still in the company, got a completely new position. Yeah. And he's sort of manager, but still has to be very operative, if I put it that way. And now, I think it was this week, Ericsson is laying off people. So this is something that now is the white collars to be pure manager in the future will be risky. You will have to stay to be more operational and be part of teams and part of completely different structures in a company where, these agents, AI agents, going to be a collaborator and partner to
Yes.
you and your team. So now I have a question to you. I see this coming extremely fast to my country, Sweden.
Mhm.
Sweden is always ahead of Germany and France. So I believe a lot is going to happen in Europe here for the next 2-3 years. And that's going to include adaptability, because you can measure people who are not adaptable. But adaptability can be coached. So you can help these people by coaching them. I know, I've done it. But the thing is, you can measure if people have unlearning ability, if they are open-minded, if they have mental flexibility. So I don't know where I started here, but when we talk about structures in companies, it's going to be so big differences. And the CEOs, the question from me to you is, it's a bit provoking, but can we keep the same CEOs? Or do we need completely different leaders in the future? And how can you measure them?
Okay, if
Yeah.
the CEO is prepared to learn,
Yeah.
is prepared to go inwards, is
Mm,
prepared to understand his or her weaknesses
mm,
or the patterns from which he or she operates, you don't need to change the CEO, because the CEO already knows so much about the company, knows all the trade secrets about the company,
mm,
knows all about the policy systems, because a lot of them have been established. The point is, like I say, the CEO needs to be flexible in his thought,
mm.
adaptable in his approach,
Adaptable. Mm,
coherent in his thinking, actions, coherent in his actions,
mm,
has to operate with energy and stable in his stance.
mm,
Because the CEO is not only creating the vision or the drawing board, is also carrying the entire team with him or her.
mm, mm.
Therefore, it becomes very essential in the new environment to have human centric CEOs.
Human-centric and facilitating before maybe, being able to facilitate the people they have around themselves.
Yes.
Mm.
Tina, you'll remember 20 years back, 30 years back, there was a influx of engineers becoming the CEOs.
Mm.
Then came the marketing guys.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Then came the IT guys. Now it is believed in future it is going to be the HR people, the human resource people who would lead companies. Because, like last time we were discussing, organizations are becoming flatter. Number two, we are living in a idea economy, knowledge economy. Knowledge and ideas cannot be translated totally on a sheet of paper. They are ever evolving over here. So if a person is full of ideas, right, you got to have him on, or have him or her on your right hand side.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the people you must have around you. And this is an important point you are making here, because people with a lot of ideas, they are rare. But
Yes.
those people have been extremely discriminated and excluded, because some of these people, like myself, we are not so easy to deal with. We could be strong minded, we have our own opinions. I would actually put it this way, that I can see things sometimes happening, and I say, it's no point we try this business model. It will not work. I have already figured it out. But then you have the people saying, well, Tina, you're always so negative. And then 1 year later, I told you it's not going to work. I already put the pattern together, and I can see in 3 dimensions. And these people I have coached a lot, and they are devastated. But you also find these people at the universities.
Yes.
They say, I thought I was working at the university and I could use my brain, I could be innovative and create things. But Tina, I can't. Now I know the sort of universities today, they are political. And that's going to be the death of the universities, because I am not sure. I'm going to be very honest with you, Sandy. I'm not sure. If I had children, I'm not sure I would send them to university. They become too rigid.
Well,
They become
well,
too rigid.
you see, this self-obsessed person can exist in a university environment, but it's very
Yeah.
difficult to exist in a corporate environment today. Reason being, in university, you can become an island. You can work individually, print your papers, get research funding, and carry on. Then the university is happy,
Yeah, they are happy if you get the funding.
right? But when it comes to the corporate, you got to talk to the other departments. If production doesn't talk to marketing and marketing doesn't talk to designing, and if designing doesn't talk to, say, the quality control, and the quality control does not talk to the procurement, and the procurement doesn't talk to the accounts, manage. Imagine what will happen. There'll be
Yeah, yeah,
total,
it's
there'll
tough.
be
Yeah.
total chaos.
Mm.
So, but tell me one thing
Well,
though.
I can tell you that. I know, but this is very long time ago. That was before Astra. Astra was a Swedish company, Astra, and then it became AstraZeneca, and that was a UK. Seneca was UK based. And during the Astra time, and this is, they I know it because I was studying to my PhD when it still was Astra. And there we could see the professors, they went from the university to the Astra site. And we always said they had a lot of time thinking at Astra. But the point was why they actually succeeded so well to develop products was, one factor was that you had time to work on projects that you didn't have to report.
Yes.
You could be disobedient. And that it was actually some of these projects where people and scientists were disobedient that are the big sales today. And I think there are more of these companies that, and I know there is one other company in Lund, I will not name drop it here. I know the scientist working on his own, yeah, by himself, and suddenly just found something that was amazing. They are living on that product today. And then I asked him, have you ever been rewarded for that? He said, no. And interesting, he says, there will be no more innovations because everyone is controlled now, even me. So they have destroyed the innovation by structure. And the ones earning money, yeah, that's the people on the top. But the guy is still in the lab that actually invented it. Got nothing. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true. And since I'm a chartered accountant, right, that's my base qualification.
Yeah.
You see, when you go there, when you go there as an executive coach, don't they indirectly ask you what would the ROI be?
Yeah, yeah, of course they do.
We are going to invest so much in
Yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah.
What would we gain?
Yeah, what will
Similar
we
is
get from you? And I
similar.
can say my right is that I will be disobedient.
Yes. Now, you
I will
know,
not do what you tell me to do. That's my
the,
job.
the short-term thinking, what we are talking today, right,
Yeah. Mm,
which really destroys
it is.
the long-term relevance.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Innovation, if you say what would the ROI be, the innovator or the scientist cannot really answer that.
They can't. We
It
can't.
is like the startup environment where you invest in 10 startups with a clear cut thought that only two or one will succeed.
Maybe one only will succeed. Yeah.
All the 10 cannot succeed. So, what are you doing? You're hedging. You are hedging or de risking by spreading out your bets.
I think that's a brilliant, but that's what it is about. And I think that is also one reason why United States of America is so successful. They just risk a lot of money and most of them fail. And that we in Sweden, if I now have to say Sweden, now lately has failed with our innovations because they were sort of paid from taxpayers, from the government, green steel, battery factories. They put all the money basically on one project. And I, from the beginning, said this will fail. You should have invested in 100 small companies.
Exactly.
Put the same amount of money in 100 companies. If you had done that, we would have been world leading today. Instead, we wasted the money completely. That's
Exactly.
innovation mindset.
Yes. And do it systematically. Say,
Yeah.
okay, come with the proof of concept, we'll give you more money. Don't give the entire money at one go. So
Mm,
yes. So if you spread yourself out by investing in multiple projects,
mm,
you see, which means a long-term thought process, you maintain the relevance of innovation.
you do.
But in case you just focus on one or two, and the interesting part is innovation means bringing something new. And it's just a freak idea in my head, right?
Yeah.
And you having no idea what idea do I have, you are sitting on judgment
Mm.
whether I should be allowed to innovate or not. Again, that's very short term thinking.
Yeah, it's very short term thinking. Very, very, very
Actually,
short.
that's no thinking, that's control.
It's control. I was up to say that. That's more control behavior, actually. Yeah.
That's control
And
behavior.
yeah,
The
yeah,
question
yeah.
is, you see my track record.
Mm,
If I have delivered, I have created something new, then have faith in me.
mm,
Don't be short sighted.
mm.
And I'm saying this thing to the governments, I'm saying it
Yeah.
to the corporates, and I'm saying it to people also. Because
Mm.
innovation is not only a product, it's also your thinking.
It's your mindset.
It's your mindset,
It's the mindset.
the
Yeah.
way you do
Innovation,
things.
mindset goes hand in hand.
Now, the way you handle relationships, you could innovate your mindset and shift from bad relationships to good relationship
Yeah,
handling.
yeah, yeah. That's very important. Find the right people. Yeah.
So just don't focus on the immediate. Immediate focusing is important because
Mm.
the resources are important, but then marry it to a long-term vision. What do you say?
Yeah. I didn't hear you. Could you repeat it? My brain was innovating here. No, so I
Okay.
heard you, but
What I
didn't
was
listen.
saying,
Sorry.
have an idea,
Mm.
focus on the immediate because resources are immediate,
Yeah.
and then use those resources or keeping those resources in mind, have a long-term vision.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, which means you are marrying the immediate strengths with long term thinking.
Mm.
And that would really give you a different mindset,
Now we give you a different mindset. Yeah.
which can
And I
really,
could, Yeah, and I would say that innovation doesn't fail because organizations can't learn. They they fail because they can't unlearn. For example, old habits, structures,
Yes,
control, comfort zone, identity, etc. That's why they fail.
you're absolutely right. Now, let me share two real life stories with you. I
Yeah,
started
please.
my practice in 1979.
Yeah.
In 1980, I go to an organization and I see the clerk over there filling up vouchers in a particular way and doing his job in a particular way. Now, since I was a systems student, I said, gentlemen, how about I helping you to reduce your workload by 20%? He looks at me, these youngsters of today, they want
Yeah.
to come and teach me. I've been doing this work for 40 years.
Mm.
Huh. That was his reaction. Now, the same company, excuse me, I go to the general manager's room. A pile of vouchers he's signing, right? Pile of vouchers he's signing. A voucher of $1, a voucher of 50 cents. I said, Kamal, what are you doing? He said, well, I got to sign them. I said, no, you don't need to sign them. Think intelligently. Why don't you delegate? Say that vouchers up to $50 can be signed by so and so. Vouchers between $50 and $100 need to be signed by two people, so and so. And if the voucher is above $100, it should come to me. So initially he resisted,
Yeah.
control.
Yeah. Control. His identity, comfort zone. Yeah. Habits.
Later on, he agreed. He put the system into place. You see, and this guy got so much free time. He started thinking, what do we do next? And he took the company to the next level.
Mm.
So, all I'm trying to say over here, a small change in the way you were working in the process
Mm.
brought about a huge shift
Can
in the
be a huge shift. Yeah. Yeah.
in the fortunes of the company.
Mm.
So this is it, and a number of times I have seen a lot of people because of their short-term thinking,
Mm.
they kill innovation and its relevance,
Mm.
long-term relevance. So, what are your thoughts, Tina?
Yeah, I have a little fun listening to you. It's not much more to add because what you say is so relevant to all of this. I would just say that a little thing that can also stand in the way, but as coaching can bring a lot in very short time. That is people's habits, because we are lazy nature, lazy animals. So we stand up, we go to work, and we do our thing, and then we need to be shaken up a bit, and that is not comfortable time to time, but that is what we need. That is why they should have coaches, these managers and teams, because they need to be shaken up by we asking difficult questions, or questions that sort of start to turn things a little bit upside down. So they start to move away from old habits. So they then can learn, oh, what we do now actually works better. I had no idea. And that is the power with coaching, what you and I do. We
And
change habits.
we change habits, we give new perspectives. We
Yeah.
don't give, we help you to develop new perspectives.
Yeah. That's what we do.
We just nudge. And like Tina said, yes, coaching is a very powerful tool in today's world because we give you, we help you to see as a third person.
Mm,
We help you to take a bird's eye view of the holistic thing
mm,
and then frame your decisions.
mm.
But Tina and I can only help you provided you are prepared to be helped.
Exactly. Mm.
We don't
You
have
mean
magic. We don't have magic wands. We can't say gilly gilly yappa and change this thing. It will not happen that way. You guys got to work. Am I right, Tina?
absolutely. And this is going back to some of what I say. I coach people in academia and I say, I can't help you because you don't see or understand that you need to be helped. And then I
Well, I
can't do
won't
it.
say that. I'll put it in a better way because
Yeah.
you don't want to be helped.
We don't want to be helped. Yeah, that could. But I don't want to be helped. Could be because I have lost the perspectives. Yeah, maybe I've lost the
Yeah.
perspectives. I think that I actually know everything. It's just that I know everything within my zone, and I forgot that. So you need to be fed with more information and perspectives, and that's when we come into, you know, new perspectives, your ability to take in new perspectives. That
Uh,
is super critical to be adaptable, to say, stop, oops, Sandeep said something.
yes.
Maybe I should stop here. And it could be that maybe I have limited myself. Maybe I have limited beliefs. It feels very uncomfortable now when Sandeep says that to me. Actually, I don't even like him right now. But then I reflect over it, and maybe I come to awareness that maybe there is something in what Sandeep said.
And I must share this life example with you. You see, so guys, look, a girl comes to me 3 years back. She rants on the phone and she's full of life is doing this to me, this to me, this to me, and I'm so disturbed, blah, blah, blah. I want to commit suicide, etc., etc. After 1 hour, she says, Sir, what is your opinion? I say, I don't see you having any problem. She said, What do you mean? I said, There's only one problem. You don't have a purpose in life.
You don't have a purpose in life. Yeah.
She
And
bangs
that
the
becomes,
phone. She bangs the phone down.
yeah.
After 2 months, she says, Sir, can we start our sessions? I said, Why? What happened? No, I realized I really don't have a purpose in life.
No, exactly. And what you say so here now is so important
Yeah.
because there is some sort of, now, at least in Sweden, that coaching should always be so comfortable and cozy. And I'm a coach that say, that is not coaching then. Because sometimes I need to ask questions and say things that you don't want to hear to wake you up. And then hopefully, when time goes. So I have the same experience with you, but from a different perspective. I worked as a career coach. I had to say something and wake the person up. I believed in the person, but that person needed to be shaken up a bit. And the person was so disappointed, wrote a letter that I was the worst coach in the whole world and complained to the organization. And they said, Tina, we can't use you as a coach any longer. Obviously, you have got this letter. And I thought I can try to explain, but what do you know happened was exactly with you. Half a year later, the person contacts me and say, thank you. Thank you.
It happens.
Yeah. And this is, why coaching, it can take time to understand that that person that actually said that thing and did that, it was meant well and needed for me to actually succeed long term. And that is powerful coaching. And
Yes,
with that
that's
said, I'm not a perfect coach, but that happened to me too. I had a coach, Tina, she said, You can be super successful. You just have to change. I said, "Oh, change." I wasn't really
and
happy.
folks, let me add one thing to what Tina said. If you're looking for a perfect coach,
Yeah.
you'll never get one
No, never get one. No.
because there's no perfect coach in the world.
Nope.
You will get good coaches and bad coaches.
And a bad coach could be a coach that doesn't shake you.
Simple. Doesn't help you to move forward.
No.
doesn't add value to you.
No, doesn't add value. It doesn't shake you up. We need to get a little bit deep to get hold on your habits and your
Hey Tina,
to
we
help.
just forgot the watch. Eh? It's been 55 minutes. We have been
Yeah,
talking.
time flies. This topic was something we both burn on.
Yeah. And believe
Yeah.
me, guys, it was all extempore, no planning, no thought. We just spoke from our hearts, whatever
Mhm.
came out into our mind. And before I hand over the mic to close the session, give our last comments, I'll only say one thing: look into yourself and ask yourself, what is stopping you from innovating? That's it. And if you identify, just take action. Tina, over to you.
Now, I don't need to add anything because, in the end, innovation is also about being brave time to time. So if you are sitting and listening to us and you feel don't appreciate it in an organization, leave. Maybe start your own company or start to look for people so that you feel appreciated. So if you are a person like me, that I expressed in the beginning, you have many ideas and no one picks your ideas in the company, then leave and look for people that have no ideas, maybe. They need your ideas, but they are good in implementing and in executing. And then maybe even in business development, then you have your own company, maybe even. Yeah, that's my final thought.
Well, thank you, Tina. And folks, we'll be back again next Saturday, same time. Tina would be leading the discussion. That is going to be a 10th episode. So we had planned a 10 episode series. We will come up with a new series after that.
Yeah, we
Thank
will.
you.
So
Thank you, everyone.
thank you and have a great Saturday today here in Scandinavia and continued Saturday in India. Thank you a
Thank
lot.
you.